hold on to second position. What a turnaround this has been. So there were longer stops by the Nismo cars. That's amazing, isn't it, that they managed to, the Cadillacs managed to get so much of an advantage. Scott Sharp has lost some 12 seconds to Eric Curran. They came in ahead. Meantime, back in is the number 5 Cadillac. This must be the bodywork issue, Shea.
That's exactly what it is, John. They are taking the rear of the car off. It's actually the wing assembly itself is its own piece, but it has pushed up the engine cover. They weren't expecting to have to change the engine cover as well. They have a new rear assembly ready to go on the car. They might need a new engine cover, though. I would put one on there, honestly. They've got a new Continental tire to go on the left-hand side. So if they're going to be that careful, they might as well change both. Meanwhile, that's the sound of Lawrence Vantor going out for his first racing laps around Road America. Jimmy Bruni's job is done for now. 912 took fuel and tires only. They are putting the same engine cover back onto the number 5. And the bodywork that came off, part of the issue might have been, John, and this is just me speculating, but they might not have known about the damage when he did come in. That could have been something that happened on the end lap.
And he spun the wheels. The wheels were turning before he came down. And I think that's going to be a penalty there. There's paintwork on the side of that car, and there was an incident on the way through the pits for the 5 and the number 90. The Visit Florida car of Mark Goosens. So I expect to hear that that is being looked at. Almost dropped a full lap there, Jeremy. The Cadillac back out there, the number 5 car. Cadillac 1-2. Johannes van Overbeek now has closed in to something in the region of 5 seconds away from the leader. That's 3 seconds away from second place. So those slightly longer stops for the Nissans. Now, before you start pointing fingers at the ESM team, part of the balance of performance here in IMSA racing is how long it takes to fill your fuel tank. We talk quite a lot, you'll have heard us talking in the past about restrictors on engine. It's just deciding how much power the engine can make by how much air goes in. Basically, it's like putting a small straw in the nostrils of Usain Bolt and asking him to run 100 metres. You choke down how much oxygen can go into the engine and therefore how much power can be made. Well, the same way there are restrictors put into the fuel rigs which govern how quickly the fuel of choice can flow into the petrol tanks of the prototypes, in fact right across the field. So that is part of the balance of performance. So ESM not necessarily having done anything wrong there. That could just be the fuel flow rate as mandated by IMSA. We've still got the top 4 cars though separated by just on 10 seconds as Eric Curran's just done his fastest lap of the race, a 56.5, and he's going to improve that this time around, provided he doesn't hit too much traffic in the final third of the track. Stephen Simpson and Mark Goosens are back at it. Or should I say at it, because Stephen Simpson has taken over the 85 bright yellow JDC Miller Motorsports Orica from his teammate Misha Goikberg, who's come up through the IMSA ladder system, prototype challenge racer for a wee while and done a really good job. Stephen Simpson, South African, very proud South African. Oh, as Goosens dives into the pits very late indeed in the Visit Florida car.
That's unscheduled then.
And that is not scheduled. I'm guessing that that must be a penalty for the contact with the 5 car. Shea, Adam?
Yeah, he's not going to be stopping in his pit box, John. The Visit Florida team are all still sitting on the pit wall. The pit board is not out, so that will be a drive-through penalty for the 90.
That was contact with the 5 car in the pit lane, I believe, or at least in the environs thereof. And Mark Goosens then takes the first penalty of the Ligier chassis era for VFR.
That's disappointing for that team because they've been having a good run going there, certainly. Now,
Eric Curran, a 56.0 last time, took time out of the leader.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, they're the big gainers in that round of pit stops. They made up a lot of ground. They made up 3 positions on that round of pit stops. Came in 4th position, well, 3rd, I guess, because they got past the 52 car, but now up into 2nd place and well clear of the Nissans that are running quite a bit farther behind them now.
Yeah, we are heading up towards an hour and 50 minutes to go, so we're getting close to that 45-minute time. Cooper McNeil out of the 50 car, so in fact, yes, he's done his minimum time. Welcome to the IMSA Radio and TV studio to Travis Rothler from Continental Tire. Good to have him here. And Travis, this is your name above the door here for the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase, and what a showcase it's been, particularly at the head of the field. You must be loving this.
It's exciting. This is going to be one heck of a race, and the fact that we've managed to avoid the rain that we had yesterday, it's been fantastic racing so far.
As Director of Marketing for Continental Tire, why are you guys in motor racing?
Well, you know, everybody talks about the what we take to the track and how it gets to the street, and we really develop tires out here, not in the sense of this is the tire that you'll ever run on your street car, but from a technology standpoint, from construction, casing, compound, what we learn out here on the track as far as wear is concerned, and the endurance that a tire has to go through to survive under these conditions out on the track. You know, taking those technologies and what we learn and take it to the street is where the development is engaged on the street side.
And is that why endurance racing is a more relevant form of competition than, say, a 15 or 20 minute sprint or changing tyres in maybe a Formula race or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you could equate what we see, the abuse in a tire on a track like this that goes for a stint of 30 to 40 minutes or so is equivalent to putting, you know, 20 to 30,000 miles on a tire, in the abuse that we see and the damage that's done to the casing and such, equivalent to what you see in a street over a long period of time. So
now your Extreme Contact Sport, which has been on sale here in the US since end of February, beginning of March, that is a tyre that has direct input from 5 active drivers who are racing this weekend in the IMSA Championship. Nobody's done that before. I'd love to have been in the meeting when you pitched that. We're going to let racing drivers decide what our next street tyre is going to feel like.
Yeah, I mean, we brought those drivers out there, and they were given, I think we started off with 6 to 8 sets of different constructions, compounds, and they were able to give us direct feedback to our engineer in the seat and provide that feedback to him directly. And based upon their feedback and what they gave us, we were able to hone in on the construction and compound that ultimately became the new Extreme Contact Sport.
And did that work for you, really?
Well, if feedback on the blogs and everything out there are true, the Extreme Contact Sport is a marked step better than the Extreme Contact DW, its predecessor. So, yes, I think we've raised the bar dramatically. Are we going to stop there? Absolutely not. We continue to develop and continue to push forward, not only what we do out here on the track, but also for what we're doing in the street for our customers out there.
What surprised me about that whole that whole project that you put together was that your tyre engineers didn't feel threatened by having the race drivers. In fact, they embraced them with open arms. And I'm hearing the feedback I'm hearing from your side of things and your engineers who I met over at Thermal when some of that final testing was doing is they'd like to have the race car drivers back and do that again and repeat that for the next generation of tyres that'll come along in about 18 months' time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just in ultimate UHP tires either. I mean, those
ultra high performance
tires. So, you know, when we get into our passenger car stuff or luxury performance touring, you know, you see those kind of developments across the board in a lot of different tire developments. So, you know, the skill and knowledge that those drivers brought to us in our UHP tire is across the board in all tire categories as well.
You might want to ask Kenny Abul to try out some of your off-road tires, because he's just taken the 75 AMG GT for a bit of a wild ride on the far side of the circuit. Pit stops for GTLM at the moment. Let's go down to Shea Adam.
Well, it's been fast and furious down here, John. We've had the number 67 come into the pit lane. That was Ryan Briscoe who brought it in. Richard Westbrook who takes it back out, fuel and tires for the Ford. The number 911, the other Porsche, the one with all the signatures on the hood, came in. Dirk Werner is now behind the wheel. Patrick Pile got out. The 4 Corvette is a little bit further up the pit lane. They are doing fuel and tires for that one as well. Split the strategy this weekend between the 3 and the 4. Oliver Gavin's time is now done, and it's Tommy Milner's turn to try and bring it home again. Last year, remember, they were 5th when we went from that final restart. The number 96 BMW is in the pit lane. Of course, the Corvette won that race. I forgot to mention that part. That is a driver change as well. GTD leader Jesse Krohn's job is done, and now it's up to Jens Klingmann. The 57 Stevenson Audi pulls into it. Box fuel and tires will be going on to that car. Andrew Davis gets out. Boston Oshibach, one of the Continental Tire development drivers that you were just talking about, he's getting his turn to drive. 63 Ferrari, the championship leader in GTD, comes in, and Alessandro Balzan is up on the wall. He's ready to go. Christina Nielsen will be getting out, fuel and tires, as well as for the number 33, the Mercedes chasing the Ferrari in the championship. Ben Keating extracts himself very quickly. Almost looked like he hurt his ankle when he got out of the car on that one, John. But it's Jerome Blakemolen getting into that car. The 96 is the first one back out of the pit lane, so the GTD leader does not lose the lead on that pit stop sequence. And we also have 57, great exit by the Audi on the pit lane. It gets out ahead of the 16, the Change Racing Lamborghini. The number 25 BMW comes in for its stop. Bill Opperland is up on the wall. 63 and 33 are both still stationary in their pit boxes. 33 starts to move. 63 easily beats out the 33. Alexander Sims already out of the 25. Michelin's going on to that car during this pit stop and a lot of fuel. And the 66, the Ford GT, is also on the pit lane. That will be Joey Hand getting behind the wheel of that car, which I will confirm right now. Yep, that is Joey's helmet behind the windshield of that car. 25 comes off of its hijacks, and the BMW is just waiting on fuel. 107 liters. That's a heck of a lot of fuel to go into that engine. Now we are good. So all of our GTLN contenders have now stopped at this point, and I only have one car left on the pit lane, and that is the Core Autosport Porsche, but that's a little bit easier for you to see.
Yeah, and John Brennett brought that car in. He has got out of the car and is walking away quite a distance away from the car before he flops over the wall. So driver change there. That car is down. It's on the uphill part of the pit lane, so there has to be one of the crew members holding on to it. It's taking a wee bit longer to bolt the new driver in. The door will now be closed. They haven't lost any time because the fuel is still going in. Fuel hose is off. It's fired. The rear Continental tyre scrabbling for grip as it pulls back out. The 54 car is down and away after full service. Travis Roffler, Director of Marketing of Continental Tyre, with us. Just a final thought before we let you go and enjoy the rest of this race with an hour and 44 minutes to go. You're involved not just here in the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, obviously the Continental Tyre Championship as well. You have the Prototype Challenge. Oh, hang on a second, somebody's just shed a bit of bodywork. Or was that an issue on the right rear? It is a right rear problem for Kenny Bull's 75 car. Now, did Kenny bring that car in changeover after he'd been off? He did. It's Tristan Fortier, and he's got problems. It's a suspension problem, and the tyre is catching on the back of the bodywork there, and that has done damage to the tyre. So that 75 car is touring back in, down on the right rear. What a shame. They were having a decent run there before Kenny had problems and came into the pit lane. Just a fun thought from you, Travis. You're involved in all these different championships, LMP3, GTD cars. I mean, that's a hugely different set of parameters for your tyre engineers to work with and your tyre designer to work with. Does that help in terms of that huge amount of data that you must be gathering here?
Yeah, all the different classes. We work obviously with all the teams across the board with developing tires on the P classes, DPI, and the P2 chassis as well that come from us out of Europe as well, and then the GTD platforms, which is a version of the GT3 platform globally. So working with all those makes and models, and really developing tires that make sense for them. But here in the IMSA series, developing one tire that works for everybody, and that's a challenge.
Yeah, very much so.
You got a lot of different makes, models, a lot of different aero, a lot of different body styles that all have to make one tire work. So we work very hard on that throughout the year.
We talk about Continental tyres a lot because that's what we say here on the track, but Continental is a global company, originally from Europe, Germany. There's all kinds of control systems that you guys are involved with, including automated cars and such like that. Any thoughts about taking the tyre side of your your competition department outside of the US and competing in Europe or globally?
We're definitely looking at that. Continental is a large global automotive supplier, so to all these OEMs here present today, we work with them in a myriad of different areas within control systems within the cars, like the car that parallel parks itself, OnStar from General Motors, all those kind of componentries. We work with electronics across the board, electronic stability control systems and the anti-lock braking systems. We're a big supplier in braking and suspension components to all OE manufacturers across the globe. So we are a very global player, and motorsports is a part of that.
And congratulations on a very successful MLS All-Star game, which you guys were integrally involved with down at Soldier Field on Wednesday night. Real Madrid winning on penalty kicks over the MLS All-Stars. That's just another string to the bow, which I'm sure we'll talk about another time, but fantastic uptake on soccer all of a sudden in the last 3 or 4 years here in the US.
Yeah, we love our stick and ball stuff, but we're here for motorsports, so we enjoy the loud noise of horsepower and burning up lots of rubber tires. So we appreciate you guys and everything you guys do, bringing this out to race fans globally. We appreciate everything you, John, Jeremy, do for sports car fans around the world. So thank you from Continental Tire for everything you guys do. And
back at you from the fans, Travis Ruffler, our Continental Tire Director of Marketing here for us this weekend, joining us down in the pit lane. Our Continental Tire pit lane reporter is Shea Adam, and the 75 has made it back, Shea.
Yeah, he's made it back, but he's going to be here for a while, John. This is going to be a lengthy stop to try and fix the suspension. They've gotten 2 new arms out of the truck to try and fix the car, but they're still trying to do it on the pit lane. They still think that they can repair the suspension within about the next 5 minutes and get him back out. They're not in this championship for points anymore. They were at the beginning of the year, especially bolstered by that 3rd place finish at Circuit of the Americas and at Sebring for Tristan Vautier. He was the driver in the car for both of those, but right now it's all about getting miles under the belts of the car. They had a test session they were going to do at VIR that got canceled because of the damage at the last race at Lime Rock. So right now, going back out, if they can get this car fixed, it will serve as their test session for the VIR race.
Jatinder has just tweeted us here at IMSA Radio, and any chance of the Continental Tires coming to the Nürburgring 24? I've just showed that to Travis Ruffler as he walked out. There was a big smile on his face as he left. I don't know what to read into that, Jet, to be honest, but thanks for asking that. At IMSA Radio, the development continues for Continental Tire here in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship and the Conti Series, and it's bringing us great racing at the front of the field at the moment. Yes, we've got Ricky Taylor out by nearly 7 seconds, but Eric Curran, Johannes van Overbeek, Scott Sharp, Stephen Simpson are together almost as one as they go past us now. And Eric Curran's under pressure from Van Overbeek. He's going to drive us right. That means the long way round turn number 1, which is a right-hander. No, he can't make it stick. And here comes Scott Sharp. Can he square off the corner? Can't do it. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 wide for a moment. Scott Sharp weaving back and forth behind his teammate, trying to put some pressure on that bright red number 31 Cadillac. And in behind them, Stephen Simpson is enjoying the view.
Well, yes, and he's closed right in there, Stephen Simpson, in that bright yellow number 85 car for that team based, of course, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So this is their home track, and Stephen Simpson has just set the fastest lap of the race last time around, a 1 minute 55.470. That's fractionally outside the track record. Stephen Simpson is flying.
Ian McCarthy.
He might not be doing very well in the cricket, but he's flying in the racetrack.
Yeah, we'll not mention that to him till he gets out. I have a suspicion that he'll be watching just as closely
we've got
as we
make hay with the sunlight shines,
absolutely, absolutely right. And Ian McCarthy has just tweeted, any reason that the Corvettes still have all the Le Mans names on the roof? Is it for luck? Because it hasn't brought them too much at the moment. It's a fair point. Antonio Garcia and Tommy Milner in 7th and 8th position. Shea Adam has the answer to that question that came in via IMSA, at IMSA Radio.
They always have 3 names on the roofs. From the Daytona race onwards, it always lists who they have in their cars. So that's nothing special from this year. That's been happening for the last few years.
Thank you, Shea. Don't forget as well our Michelin post-race tech show. The checkered flag might be the end of the race, but it's only the start of the conversation. Anything that you've seen that you want to bring up either in this race or across the weekend, or points rising, questions you want to ask, then you can start tweeting them in round about 20 minutes time with about an hour to go at IMSA Radio, and use the hashtag Michelin PRT please at IMSA Radio. Michelin PRT is the hashtag at IMSA Radio. And for our Spirit of the Race Award, tell me more about that later on, but those of you that know what I'm talking about, that will be RAPRT, and again to at IMSA Radio. Ricky Taylor's pace was just a little bit down, Jeremy, off the pit stops. I wonder if they just made a slight adjustment in the tyre pressures and they were just coming up to pressure there, but he's down in the 57s again now and has stabilised that lead at round about 7.5 seconds. No real need for him to push any harder at the moment because no one is getting anywhere near his times.
Correct. The two Nissans did change pace, by the way. Scott Sharp did manage to get past Hans van Overbeek. They're leaving Gutierrez well behind him in the number 52 car, back into 6th position now in GTLM as we watch Joey Handus, pull through turn 5 and turn 6. He's got a couple of second lead over John Edwards in the number 24 BMW. So that's a car that has come up extraordinarily well from the back of the field. Second place, we heard from John Edwards, was it this morning, saying that he didn't feel too bad at all about starting from the back. Well, it's been a brilliant charge by he and Martin Tomczyk. Meanwhile, back in GT Daytona, it's all BMW. 13-second lead over now Jeff Siegel in the number 86 Acura. That made a huge jump during the pit stops, vaulted from 5th place into second, and is not picking up any ground on the leader certainly, but holding off Jörg Bergmeister number 73, number 15 Hawksworth, 57 Audi of Lawson Aschenbach, and then Corey Lewis in the change racing Lamborghini now back to 6th place. That's the pole sitter.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Jeff Siegel isn't making any ground on Jens Klingman at the moment because Bergmeister and Hawksworth are not even a second. The pair of them aren't a second behind him. It's half a second and another 3/10. So he's got his mirrors full of people weaving around trying to find the bit of track that they want. Meantime, in the GT Le Mans battle, Joey Hand leads John Edwards by 2 seconds. Laurent Vanthoor another second or so behind at the front of the field, having got past his teammate. Scott Sharp is dragged right up behind Eric Curran again and is looking at the back of the Cadillac DPIV. Down through turn 7. Janus van Overbeek's time's just dropped off a tiny bit. Scott Sharp's just done his fastest lap of the race, and for the car there will be a penalty on the 75 car coming up. That is the AMG GT. Too many men over the wall working on the car after that issue on the right rear.
Serving that right now.
Thank you, Jeremy. Always helps to actually look to see what is happening in front of us. Can't fail to be anything other than impressed by Ricky Taylor's drive here, Jeremy. 5.4 seconds to the good on the next best Cadillac. Well, Eric Curran there has put his best lap in. Oh, that was a slow lap from Taylor there. Must have caught a bit of traffic at 58.1 against the 55.6.
No, it's just a really good lap from Eric Curran more than anything else.
Well, he's under pressure, isn't he, from Scott Sharp? So Eric's been given the hurry up from his team, as I'm sure Scott Sharp is from back on the pit wall. No Ed Brown in terms of driving duties, but still very much involved with the team. Tequila Patron still writ large, and no thought of that disappearing their commitment to the IMSA Championship, the North American Endurance Championship title sponsor, of course, Tequila Patron. And hearing that Ed Brown will be testing a Ferrari, an Audi and a Mercedes-Benz GT3 car shortly. Can't possibly think why that might be, Jeremy, for Ed.
Oh,
just because maybe he's got an afternoon free.
Exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
He's a pretty busy guy. So
well, he is.
If you manage to wangle a day off, hey, take advantage of it, right?
Ed, pleased to hear that your back surgery went well, and we'd love to see you back in the paddock in a GTD car anytime soon. Been a great supporter of this form of racing for several years here in North America. The green and black Tequila Patron colours, been on a variety of sports cars, including Ferraris, of course. Let's not forget that they were a GT.
Ago, was it?
No, that's right. They were a GT team not so very long ago, and Ed's background was in Ferrari racing as well, in club racing. 2012, I think, the last time that they won. In fact, I don't think that. I know that because Shay's just told me that. 85 car, Stephen Simpson. Now, has he just had a problem?
Oh.
That car, all of a sudden, seemed to be going slowly. Jose Gutierrez looked a little closer than 12 seconds. Yes, he's slow in the centre section. Lost about 7 seconds. So I think the 85 car might have been off on the exit of the carousel. And, oh yeah, he got pushed out there by
the Nissan.
By the Nissan of Johannes van Overbeek.
Both trying to find a way past number 54, Core Autosport. Porsche now has Colin Brown at the wheel, but boy, that was a long way off the road. Thankfully, there is a long way off the road there these days. It used to be.
Fortunately, he had his hand stamped as he went out there, so he could get back in, waving around as he goes past us on the start-finish straight to try and clean the Wisconsin dirt off his tyres. That was a nasty moment there, coming up behind slower cars, and that's what we're seeing in the keys to the race, Jeremy, managing the traffic. It's all about just picking and choosing the time to be able to get through. He was battling for a position, 4th overall with Johannes van Overbeek, but that's dropped him back. Hasn't lost him a place, but it's cost him 6 seconds in that battle, and that's going to take him a wee while to get back. In GT Daytona, let's pick up what's going on there. Jens Klingmann by 14 seconds now. That lead handed to him pretty much by his teammate Jesse Kroner, who did a great job early on. But Jens is doing a good job as well, in fairness. Jeff Siegel, the man on the move in terms of what's been happening at and since the pit stop. The 86 Acura with a great pit stop cycle from Michael Shank Racing, and that's pushed that car into second. 25 BMW into the pit lane. Bill Oberlin. Now, they were the last of the GTLM cars to come in. They last came in on 26, so this is not a scheduled stop. Just 7 laps ago. Shea Adam, what's going on down there?
A single new Michelin, John. The left rear they are changing. They have pulled the right front off as well. They're examining something on that portion of the car. Now the hood is coming off. Remember, this car had a little bit of frontal contact into the barrier earlier on. Now they changed the right rear as well. This is going to be a while.
Just hearing from race control that the number 14 Lexus, currently in the hands of Sage Karam, has been given a warning for blocking. One of the BMWs was right up behind it there. That's not the same class car. Sage sort of just wandering around in one of the faster part of the circuit. He knows better than that. And just a gentle reminder of his responsibilities when being passed. There's that key to the race again, Jeremy. Managing traffic. Being passed is a skill just as much as passing is.
Very much so, it certainly is. And a new lap record there for Steven Simpson in car number 85. Wow. After being nerfed off the road, they're down at the carousel. Number 25 car still stationary there, by the way. It doesn't look very urgent. But a great lap there by Steven Simpson to 154.360. That is a new prototype lap record around here for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Eclipses the 55.4 set last year by Tristan Nunez in the Mazda. So he's whittling away at that deficit again. He's going to try and get back on terms with Johannes van Overbeek.
Yeah, the whole front end of the Oberlin BMW, the 25 car, is off. It looks like they're looking at the upright. Shea Adam is down there. They've got the socket set out there, Shea. This is not a workable moment.
No, and it's really unfortunate because this is the car that came into the race this weekend second in the championship standings for GTLM. 2 wins this year for Bill Oberlin and for Alexander Sims, who seems to love driving all these new tracks. He just seems to gel really well with them. Almost split the forwards in qualifying yesterday, but the hood is going back on. I have to wait to see if they're going to send the car back out. They're saying wait before they take it off the air jacks. The engine was just refired. There was a block under the car. Good, heads up. Now the 25 is going back out, and it is going out on track. We are expecting any moment now, John, the number 2 to come in because it's razzle-dazzle time.
And he'll be taking over from Scott Sharp. Hello to MPG, just tweeted at IMSA Radio, driving back from Missouri and through South Carolina at the moment. Not sure whether you are heading to MPG, listening in to us at the moment, enjoying this coverage live from trackside. IMSA Radio and IMSA TV together, of course, for the international audience. The pictures are stunning. Well done to the truck today. And I know it's all digital nowadays, but particularly to the tape apes, that is still the terminology that's used for the replay team, who are doing a cracking job at getting us up to date with what's been going on in the part of the circuit that we can't see. If you are equipped, XM and Sirius are taking this race flag to flag with no interruption. XM 201, Sirius 145, the two channel numbers that you need to know. As we are just under 90 minutes to go, 1 hour and 26 minutes.
Slow Acura puncture, left rear puncture on the start-finish straight, so he wasn't able to get that car into the finish. Yes, it is second place in GT Daytona.
Oh, that's happened just after the entrance to the pits then, Jeremy.
Yep.
And he's got 4 miles to go around. What a nightmare for the lead Acura. It's been a horrible weekend for Michael Shank Racing, hasn't it? And that tyre has gone down. It's staying on the rim for the moment. Jeff Siegel driving maybe a little bit quickly, but he's desperate to get back around. For Stuart Hall telling me at the 24 Hours of Silverstone this year, when I said, how fast do you drive on a punctured tyre? He said, whatever you're doing, it's too fast. Always slow down. Now, where did this happen? Just come out final corner, Jeremy.
And unfortunately, he was kind of pinned there by number 73 car, which was going past
Jörg
him.
Bergmeister got the run on him out the final corner, and therefore Jeff Siegel couldn't make the cut back into pit lane. Well, you know what? That is very, very gentlemanly driving from Siegel. He could have tried to ease his way across into the pit lane, but that would have caused all kinds of issues for the cars behind him.
The only other thing you could have done really was jam on the brakes, and then wait till the cars to go past, and then pull across the road, or even pull off the grass on the outside. But this is so costly for the number 86 car. It's been a brilliant run for he and Oz Negri.
I love that red, that Valencia red pearl with the black detailing on that. That is a colour that you can get on your street NSX. Not that I'm likely to have a street NSX anytime soon. Struggle to put the deposit down on a Civic, to be honest. the guys, especially with what the responsible adult pays me, I don't know. I get paid to fly. I do the motor racing stuff for nothing. That's what I get told. In fairness, I'm not arguing with that. The two Porsches are heading back towards us. Lauren Vanta and Dirk Werner are behind the wheel, and they're dealing with GT Daytona traffic, and they're having to work so very hard to drag past a Lamborghini, that's the Change Racing car, and the 63 Scuderia Corsa machine. Alessandro Balzan, by the way, has quietly, without any fuss, worked his way back into the top 6 for that car. That's the championship leading car, and that's what they've been doing all season. Ahead of him, Corey Lewis in the Lamborghini. That was the pole sitting car with Jerome Mull, who got rather mugged off the start line and dropped down, and they've not been able to regain those positions, Jeremy. Just don't seem to have had the pace over the long run that they had in putting that pole lap together.
Well, they were doing fine until the first round of pit stops. They're running in the second position, but lost a bit of ground during that pit stop, and then I don't think, not that Lewis is losing much ground, but he's certainly losing the odd tenth of a second here to that other group of cars.
Scott Sharp is in the pit lane. Jose Gutierrez, the 2 Nissan, the 52 Ligier, and also in the pit lane is the Acura, who's come in through the false grid area, but will pull back on the pit lane. Let's have the prototype stops with this Continental Tire pit lane update.
Scott Sharp, after a brilliant job, he's won here twice before. He gets out of the number 2 machine, and it's razzle-dazzle time. He is installing himself in. They're giving him 4 scuffed Continental tires on that number 2 machine. For the number 52, it is now time for Olivier Pla to do his first racing lap around here. Since 2014, it was a DNF that year, so anything would be an improvement for the Frenchman. He is getting 4 new Continental tires. Jeff Siegel has brought that number 86 machine back in. The tire is flailing around haphazardly, but it hasn't done a terrible amount of bodywork damage to that number 86, especially given what the crew saw yesterday from the sister car. This is a lot better than what they've dealt with. They are changing the front tires before they get to work on the rear. And the 3 Corvette has also been in it. Antonio Garcia stayed behind the wheel of that car. They did fuel and tires for him, hoping that this alternate strategy pays off, because there is rain in the area. We're not sure when it will make its way in. But for the 86 Acura team, they're making sure that none of the suspension bits are broken. No, the wheel hub is not moving around on its own. Jeff did a great job to get that back in. Oh, and Pipo Durrani is up on the wall for the 22 now, so expect Johannes van Over back in next time by.
And that will be from 4th position for the 22 car. Shea, do you want rain or do you not want rain? This is the question. Do you want rain or do you not want rain?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll take a little bit of rain. I don't have to wear my fire suit tomorrow, so I don't mind if I get a little bit damp out here.
All right, in which case, there's an hour and 21 minutes left, and I am about to say that there will not be any rain before the end of the race, and my predictions are rubbish.
Thank you for that.
No.
Now I'm expecting to have to put up an umbrella soon.
In comes the 85 and the 22. Johannes van Overbeek and Steven Simpson are in, and the 10 car of Ricky Taylor will be in next time round, Shea.
Okay, so this will not be a driver change for the 85. The Orica will still be handled by Steven Simpson. They pop open the door, though, and give him a new drinks bottle, not one that actually stays in the car, but one that he can have access to while he's helmeting. They look like they're going to close the door. Yeah, they did. So he just took a sip of the drinks bottle. Must mean that they don't actually have one in the car for him to access whenever he wants. 4 sticker Continental tires for the number 85, the JDC Miller Motorsport car. That's the 86 going back out. Excellent work again by the MSR crew to get the car fixed and ready to go. 22 is just waiting on the driver change and fuel. The leader has entered the pit lane, but he's a little bit further back. 22 is done with their fueling, done with everything, so Pipo Durrani gets to start his first race around Road America. That's pretty cool.
Leader will be coming in, Shea. Sorry, that was my fault, but it will be a driver change for the number 10. It will be Jordan Taylor getting into the car with about a minute, about an hour and 20 minutes to go. Hello to Marshall from Racer.com, tuned in to IMSA Radio and IMSA TV, live from Road America this weekend as the leader is in the pit lane. He points out great sportsmanship by the 86 Acura. Didn't cut across the track when he got the puncture, and then he drove up the pit lane access road, so he didn't slow any cars trying to make a fast charge up the hill into the pits. Completely agree. Jeff Siegel, class act. Here's the leader. Shea Adam has this Continental Tire pit lane report as Ricky Taylor will be jumping out.
And Jordan Taylor loves many things in life. He loves his dog, but he loves when he gets sticker Continental tires, and that's exactly what will be happening for the number 10 machine. The Koenig Minolta team have another set of brand new tires to go on that car, as he is followed in by the number 31. Eric Curran still behind the wheel of that machine, but his time is done as well because Dane Cameron is up on the wall with his distinctive green helmet. The driver change nearly complete for the 10 as Jordan Taylor just sort of disappears in through the window area of the door. Dane Cameron with a little bit more difficulty. He had a seat insert to put into the number 31 before. Now he has completed all of that. They're doing a tire change for the 31, a windshield tear off. The 10 is off of the jacks, fuel still going on. The 31 now comes off the air jacks as the 10 does a burnout and goes out on the circuit. Still waiting on fuel for that number 31. There it goes. And the number 5 should be in soon too as the 90 has come in. That is Mark Goosens, done with his stint in the Visit Florida Ligier. Got to make sure that I say that. Renger van de Zande kind of casually jumps off the pit wall, holding out his seat insert. He will be taking his first laps around Road America in this car in racing conditions. They are doing 4 Continental tires. I believe those are stickers. Yep, there's a sticker on the right front as the guy on the wall just kind of casually rolls it over to the tire changer. The tire change is done, waiting on fuel only. Renger is, oh man, he is so pumped up. He's ready to go. You don't often see Renger van de Zande with a smile that big on his face. They pull the Florida shape pipboard up, and out goes Renger.
Adam with that Continental Tire pit lane report, and the blue car is rolling again with Renger van der Zande at the wheel. He gets up to pace, pulls out onto the circuit, straight onto the racing line. There's no hard line out of the pits there. A lot of people will stay to the right. There's a dotted line, which means exactly as it would on the road. It's give way, yield, if you will. But there's not a hard line coming out the pitch that you've got to stay to the right-hand side of. So if the track is clear, you can get back on the racing line for turn 1 and get up to pace as quickly as possible. So Dane Cameron versus Jordan Taylor at the front of the field. Oh, that's worth the price of admission right there.
Yeah, certainly is. Dane Cameron and Eric Curran, winners of this race each of the last 2 years, and the year before that Dane Cameron won here in GTD class as well, so he absolutely loves this place. I remember him having a pole here in the Grand Am days as well. I think, pretty sure it's his first pole in the prototypes. A long time ago now, that seems. But that track in which he absolutely shines. But he's got quite a deficit to Jordan Taylor's already gone past us now to complete lap 40. There now goes Dane Cameron, not too far ahead of number 2 Nissan. 8.8 seconds the margin between first and second.
Pete Durrani gets down to work quickly, having taken over the 22 car, fastest centre section of anybody at a 1:55.1 last time around. Is second only to Steven Simpson's 54.3. He is quickly getting up to it, and a problem for the Allegra Motorsports Porsche. Is that another left rear puncture? It's sitting low down on that side, Jeremy, and it comes into the pit lane. This is Daniel Morad. Oh yes, and that might be more than a puncture. I wonder if he's got some suspension damage there as well. And oh yeah, it's had an issue somewhere around the circuit, and then we've lost the part of the tyre carcass altogether, and Daniel's had to try and get that car back for the better part of a third of a lap. He's got into the pit lane now, but that Allegra car will be losing track position as it comes to a halt now. It will be a 4-tyre stop, I believe. Yep, 4 new sticker Continentals going up on the wall. So 2 young chargers at the head of the field, Jeremy, in Jordan Taylor and Dane Cameron. And Dane will feel he's got something to prove here. The Taylor brothers have been taking all of the plaudits and all of the headlines this year, and Dane will want to strike back for the 31 team and for himself. It's potentially very important piece of action on the front straight now, as the leader Jordan Taylor is coming up to put a lap on the number 5 Cadillac of Joao Barbosa, and Joao will not want that to happen.
Indeed he will.
Second in the championship, that number 5 team. I can imagine Joao is going to fight a bit of a rearguard action. He's just completed his outlap.
Yeah, and particularly with the number 31 car, teammate of course number 5, completely different colours and different sponsors. Mustang sampling number 5 car, Wheeler Engineering on the number 31, but number 5 team I'm sure would in some ways want to help the number 31. The gap from first to second came down a little bit on that last lap, and both Ryan Dalziel and Steven Simpson were closing in a little bit as well. Simpson's got some ground to make up, but he's got a super fast car in that number 85.
A while ago I said that Alessandro Balzan had stealthed his way up to 6th position. Of course, with the problems for cars ahead of him, he's now up to 5th. That is our championship leader, and he's putting pressure on Corey Lewis in the 16 Change Racing Lamborghini. He has to actually pick his pace up a little bit, because Jerome Blakemolen in the 33 Mercedes-Benz, or at least in the AMG GT3 I should say, is right on his tailpipes. Those two barely half a second, those 3 in fact barely a second apart, and battling for position. But on the track at the moment, the leader is now through the traffic and has about a 10 car lengths deficit to the last car on the lead lap, and that is Joao Barbosa in the number 5 Cadillac, second in the championship, coming in here this weekend, 19 points behind the car that leads. And meantime, that battle I was talking about, Alessandro Balzan has gone by the Change Racing Lamborghini of Corey Lewis down into turn number 3. So that's now 4th position for Balzan.
And ushering him off the road as he did so under braking, wasn't he? The number 16 car left with no room at all on the outside of the corner there. But closing on both of these two, notice, is at number 33 Mercedes. Jerome Blekemolen is at the wheel of that car. Really good first stint, by the way, by Ben Keating at the wheel of that car. Uh-oh, was that off the road? What was that? Okay, scratch that. So he's closed right in on this little group, has Jerome Blekemolen, and he is flying right now. Let's have another look at the replay of the Ferrari on the inside, the Lamborghini on the outside, and he just... Well,
under braking, Jeremy just slid across the road to the left.
He left him a car with room on the outside. That's fair enough.
The 73 Park Place car has dropped out of contention and down to 10th position. Shea Adam can give us this Continental Tire pit lane report to tell us why.
They followed in the 28 Allegra car. The 73 had a radio transmission that Jörg said there was something funny feeling on the car. They had a tire that had just slightly started to go down, so they came in, changed it, and sent it back out.
Well, that's bad luck for them, because that's just before they could have got to the end, I reckon. An hour and 11 minutes. The GTDs tend to be the cars that go the furthest on their fuel, but even for them, that's too much to ask. At least one more pit stop for everybody. Stephen Simpson's just put the fastest lap of the race in, Jeremy, in the 85 cars. He tries to chase down the leading three. Meantime, Ryan DL has got ahead of Dane Cameron. So Dane Cameron has dropped from second to third with a 58.6, so that must have been a whoopsie somewhere for Cameron, because he had a little bit of breathing space on Razzle Dazzle. Not much, but enough. 9 seconds the gap between Jordan Taylor and the new second place. That's the number 2 Nissan powered Ligier.
Not many dull moments here, are there?
No, not at all. I'll take a breath for a moment. Oh, no, I can't, because the battle for second in GTD is just heating up as Lawson Aschenbach, as Jeremy suggested a little while ago, has been closing down on Jack Hawksworth in the 15 Lexus. Jack partnered with Scott Pruitt this weekend in a change round of the driving talent for 3GT in the Lexus team. Lexus here in force with as many of the manufacturers are this weekend at Road America, with a display of street cars. And the new coupe here looks absolutely stunning, sitting in a sort of dark grey metallic, just down at the bottom of the vendor row there by the finishing point for the zip line. And no, I haven't tried it still. I'm still claiming I'm overweight. Shea Adams just told me she volunteers this tribute. So this battle is for second position on the racetrack. 57 Audi in third at the moment in GT Daytona. They've just gone through the kink and heading down towards Canada Corner. Bright blue number 15 Lexus. 16 seconds, Jens Klingman in that BMW. He's having an easy stint here. He's going to keep it pointing in the right direction. Gustavo Jackerman has just dropped into the pits from second place in Prototype Challenge. Haven't mentioned that class too much. Patricio O'Ward's bossed it. Well, the 38 car has bossed it right from the start, frankly. And we have Buddy Rice in the pit lane, just in fact leaving the pit lane in the much delayed number 20 car. Don Young went straight on at the final corner and did some damage to that car early on. He's in third position at the moment, but many laps down.
So Jack Hawks was now up to second in the GTD class, with Lawson Aschenbach all over his rear wing, and about 7 seconds back. Number 63 Ferrari, Alessandro Balzan, having cleared Corey Lewis, has checked out pretty quickly, and we'll see whether he can reduce the deficit to those two cars ahead of him. Hawksworth and Aschenbach, they're running about 16 seconds behind the dominant Turner Motorsport BMW car number 96.
Yeah, that car from the start, and remember, it wasn't the pole sitter, but it got ahead at the start and has really not had any kind of challenge whatsoever for the blue and yellow machine. Not so Jack Hawksworth at the moment. Goes underneath the Corvette bridge to turn 6. Lawson Aschenbach in the Stevenson Audi. Stevenson have had a decent run of form with both their cars. They run a Camaro in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. The Audi R8 still their weapon of choice here in the IMSA Championship. Meantime, we've got Lawrence Van Tour. No, we haven't. Yes, we have. No, check that. Okay, is that a lapped car there then? 24 BMW, yes. 24 car is John Edwards, and he's right with Richard Westbrook. So the two Chip Ganassi cars, sorry, confused for a moment. But John Edwards now right up behind Richard Westbrook for second place.
That's just changed because Westbrook just got past him, in actual fact.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah, it is. Because Edwards has been slipping back lately. He made a fabulous charge through the field, was running in second place, only a couple of seconds behind the leader, that'd been number 66 Ford, but that gap back to the second place. Well, now the teammate 67 has grown to over 7 seconds over the last 10, 12 laps.
Yeah, my apologies. I was looking at a timing screen that had yet to update. So
Yes.
when I looked for the car number, the 67 was still sitting in 3rd position. A vagary of our timing system that it takes about 5 seconds to upgrade when the cars go through the timing points. And that's why I thought it was Vante, because he was the next car back, but it clearly was the BMW that had been passed. Jeremy is right. He's got the lap chart, doing it the old-fashioned way. So Joy Han by now 9 seconds from his teammate Richard Westbrook, with just over an hour to go in GTLM. 66 and 67 Chip Ganassi Racing cars have got to the front now. Can they stay there? They have been at times, when they've needed to be, they have been frugal. The BMW is 3rd, then the 2 Porsches in team formation, about another 4 seconds further back from John Edwards in the BMW, and they are racing in 912 and 911 formation there. Remember that 911 car with the front end of the car, the bonnet area has been signed by the whole team. It'll be presented to Jens Walther. This is his final race as the man at the head of Porsche in the US. He'll be heading to Porsche Leipzig, the Macan and Panamera factory. Cayenne that built there as well, I believe. What a send-off it could be if they could get on the podium, or better. They're racing down at the moment, and they are fast. 2:04.4s for both of the Porsches, 2:07 for Edwards, 2:05 for Westbrook, 2:04.5 for Joy Hand. Now, having got past John Edwards, Westbrook is not pulling away, Jeremy. Westbrook's got through. Now, is this another one of these Richard Westbrook pink fluffy bunny-eared slippers drives again? Is he trying to wring lap times out of that car without actually using the throttle?
Yeah, could be. I've also been noticing last few laps, number 5 car, you noticed it after the pit stops. Joe Barbosa came out of the pits just ahead of Jordan Taylor. Well, he's managed to pull away, but he's not under any danger right now of going a lap down, so he's doing some very good laps. That number 5 car on the tail end of the lead lap in the 8th position.
PC best lap to Patricio O'Ward.
Well, that's a shocker.
Yeah, 1:59.2.
Every single race this season he's set the fastest lap in the PC class.
Yeah, they do like to have the full weekend, don't they? Paul, fastest lap and race win.
Yeah.
I'm just looking as well that Ryan DL is just gently reeling in the leader as well. It's under 9 seconds again now.
You know, and
there's one more pit stop,
It's been sort of 7, 8, 9 seconds. Yes, there's one more pit stop to go. It's been 7, 8, 9 seconds. It's been sort of fluctuating fairly similarly. The number 31 car slipping back just a little bit in that 3rd position, now under increasing pressure, of course, from Stephen Simpson.
We did.
And then I've been watching the gap behind that to number 22, and particularly behind him, Olivier Pla, number 52 car.
Yeah, we've not seen Pla light up the timing screens just yet. A 55.3 that time around. Just strikes me that Ryan DL, the 22 and the 2 car, Ryan DL in the number 2 ESM Tequila Patron, Ligier Nismo, they did take longer at their pit stops. It's going to take them a very long time to fill both of the cars, equally long time to fill both the cars, I should say. And I just wonder if Ryan needs to get a bit of a move on there to try and offset the longer pit stop. Last time through turn 1, stout challenge and defence for what is 3rd place with Stephen Simpson and Eric Curran. And Stephen Simpson just got to the outside but couldn't stay on the track there as Eric made the corner. Dave Cameron in that car.
Battle heading around turn 1 now, downhill underneath the Briggs and Stratton Bridge.
Yeah, that was a moment or two ago, Jeremy, the back of the same point of the circuit now. And heading down to the same point of the track that we were watching on replay. If you're watching our live coverage, what great pictures. Thank again to NASCAR Productions and our whole team, particularly our camera operators who've been out in all kinds of weather in the last couple of days. Also to our flaggers, marshals, track services and recovery teams, and indeed all the volunteers here at Road America, whether you've been on the gates taking tickets, parking cars or whatever. Thank you very much indeed for your help this weekend. Into the pit lane, the 16, Corey Lewis drops out of that battle and down through the field. May be able to go at the end from here, an hour and 2 minutes, maybe not.
It's going to be very, very tight, I think. I'm not sure any of the GTD cars can do a full hour.
Shea Adam has been talking to the Change Racing Lamborghini team.
They're thinking that there might be another caution before this one is done, John. We've only had that one right at the beginning, but the Change Racing people seem to think that, well, chaos might just erupt, especially if that big black cloud that's moving in from behind the booth does just add water.
Yeah, very good. Down and away. That was a very smart stop indeed. This from Ryan Sieg says, first time I've seen the Porsche RSR with the new exhaust. We're on the outside of turn 6 here at Road America. They've tweeted to us at the IMSA Radio, and this comment is just, my goodness me. It is good, isn't it, Ryan? It's very good indeed. And we try to give you the best we can with our effects, but there's nothing like being trackside when it wheels by. And also James Counter on holiday in Pembrokeshire in Wales and tuned into IMSA TV, watching will be the early hours of the evening there, 9:15 in the UK, watching this battle down to turn 3 with Stephen Simpson and Dane Cameron scrapping for third and the final podium position there as they go past the changed Lamborghini, which is not up to speed yet after its pit stop and a set of cold Continental tyres. Simpson goes to the right hand side, coming over the top of the brow at 4 and heading into 5. Can he get the overlap? He can, but Dane Cameron is not about to give up his position. Is it the old over and under and up the hill? It's going to be the try. Simpson could not get the power on quite early enough to make that under the Corvette bridge stick. But these two are the closest battle on the circuit at the moment. There was 0.0360 per second as they went across the last timing loop, down into 8 now before the carousel at turn 9. They're on the run back home now, halfway around the circuit. Dane Cameron with a clear track ahead of him. He will like that. You don't want to see traffic when you know you've got a hard charger like Stephen Simpson behind you, and Simpson just drops the left-hand side Continentals onto the dirt coming out of the carousel. A slight mistake there, and the gap opens up by 2 or 3 prototype cars' lengths. Crackle of the downshift as they break into Canada corner, and Stephen Simpson flat drifting that car. We've seen Ollie Pla doing that in the past, and Simpson's really leaning on the Orica chassis. Now, can he get somewhere close to the back of the Cadillac as they come up the hill? Gets a good run off the final corner. No, he's nowhere near this time around, so we'll have to plan and scheme. Now, there is a little bit of traffic coming into play ahead of them, and it's Buddy Rice in the prototype challenge car, I think, that they're coming up on.
912 Porsche onto pit lane.
Lawrence Vantour is in behind the wheel of that. Shea Adam has this.
Fuel and brand new Michelin tires for the number 912, John. They think that they're finally within a window where they can possibly make it to the end. But remember, it's a long uphill at the end of this track, and if you run out at the bottom, you're not going to see the start finish. We've also got the Ford mechanics up on the wall for the number 67. Richard Westbrook will be coming in. He knows how to make a fuel tank last, though. We saw it the last time out at Lime Rock Park, seeming to go further than anybody else, as the 912 is good to go and does just that.
That's going to be tight. That is going to be tight. 58 minutes as Jens Klingman comes in from the lead of GT Daytona and is dropping down. This will be his last pit stop as well,
yeah,
I
exactly.
would think. Now, I think 58 minutes for him is more likely than a GT Le Mans car, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I guess, I mean...
Slow stop for the 96, Shea Adam.
Yeah, they finished the fueling and then they were telling Jens to go, and it took about another 3 seconds before he actually got the car moving. So that BMW took quite a bit more time on the pit lane than necessary.
Back to GTD, and now the battle for the lead is Lawson Aschenbach and Jack Hawksworth. Hawksworth has the top spot at the moment. Oh, and a moment for our leader in prototype challenge as Patricio O'Ward had a wild ride on the Hurry Downs between 7 and 8 as he just, I don't know if he just lost concentration for a moment, just overdid it on the exit of turn 7. Eases the car back on the track, but got a bounce that just threw him.
It's getting exciting at turn 1 as well, between that battle for third position, Dane Cameron and Stephen Simpson. They were absolutely nose to tail as they came past the pits to complete lap 50.
Problem for the Acura, another left rear puncture for the 86. This is the red car, and Andy Lally at the wheel of, Jeff Siegel at the wheel of that car. That's the old red machine, and there's damage to the left rear wheel arch. So the second time that Jeff, well, he'd be getting good at that now, won't he? As Dane Cameron and Stephen Simpson go past the 67 Porsche, that second Richard Westbrook in GTD, through the left-hander at turn 6 and down the hill. John Edwards shown as stopped on the circuit in the 24 BMW at the moment. He's gone missing from my timing screen. Wait to see if we can find him out there. 55 minutes to go. Well, what a boon this would be if we have to have a full course yellow in the next couple of laps.
Number 15 Lexus on pit lane, John, leader.
Just a quick update from the leaders, who are now only 5.3 seconds. Jordan Taylor and Ryan Diel had just been told to go on to fuel safe mode to stretch to their last pit stop, and now they may not have to.
Full course yellow.
Full course yellow is out, and this must be then.
Who was just in the pit? The number 14 car was just in.
John Edwards is showing us moving again, so full course yellow. Oh, he's got to the pit lane entrance and no further.
Oh.
And that's why. John Edwards, the car sitting down the 24. What a weekend it's been for them. Closed pit, and in came, I think that was Gunnar Jeanette in the 50. Yes, it was. So that must be emergency service. There's a lot of people here, Jeremy, who'll be on fumes here.
Yeah, particularly the GTD cars, because they all came in on the same lap last time around, and that was, half the race ago, lap 24.
Horrible weekend for the 24 car. New engine, and that looks like the car is sitting down on the right rear in the pit lane entrance, and it just couldn't get up the hill. I wonder if that's a drive problem. John's pulled off to the right, but it's still a full course yellow because it's on the racetrack there. It's not even in the pits where the area is, and Jeff Siegel's come in under closed pits as well, but that will be counted as emergency service too if they just replace the left rear Continental and send him. That car many laps down anyway. So now the problem is here, Jeremy, that I don't think that the leading prototypes can go 53 minutes. So they were on a fuel safe to try and get them to the point where they could go to the end without a splash. This is helping, but I don't think they'll necessarily pit here. So if you're further down, if you're Joao Barbosa now, you pit, you brimful it, you pit again before you go green, and then you cross your fingers. You're right on the end of the lead lap at the moment. Or has he lost the lead lap?
Who are you talking about?
Joao Barbosa.
No, he's still on the lead lap.
Right.
He's fine. So all the leaders will need to make pit stops now, and it's going to be a while before we get back to green. It's going to be very, very marginal, certainly, as to whether they can get to the end from here after making this pit stop and get everything cleaned up and get the race back underway. But the guys the car who this will help is the number 912 GTLM Porsche, which is the only one of the GTLM cars to have made a pit stop in this sequence.
Yes, I think Antonio Garcia has been in as well because he was off sequence, wasn't he? So this is exactly what the number 3 Chevy Corvette team wanted. John Edwards' car has been moved. It's on tour. It's getting a flat tour, so there's no need to put it on a flat bed. So it was a suspension issue. He's out of the pit lane now, so the pit lane can be opened next time around. Bodywork at the side of the circuit from one of the GTD cars, I believe, bit of bright red bodywork. It looks like a wheel arch extension That, I'm guessing, is from the Acura. Didn't quite look the right shade of Valencia Red Pearl, but in fairness, I'm not right up to date with my Acura colour palette. So, Jeremy, this is very interesting.
Yes.
All right, your team manager of the leading car, you're Wayne Taylor. You can't, if you pit now...
Oh, you've got to pit now?
Do you reckon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't have any option but to pit now. And then they'll hope for another caution before the end of the race, or this caution is extended, or whatever. Certainly...
Does anybody stay out of the prototypes to take the track position?
No.
Okay. I just think they're a good 10 minutes away from being able to make it to the end. If they pit now, if they pit this time around, and the pits will be open this time around, they are 10 minutes away from making it to the end. So they have to have a splash or another yellow.
Yeah, I mean, they're on ultra fuel safe, certainly, so they'll be running, high gear, low revs, coasting, whatever they need to do to get this best fuel consumption as they can. But I don't think they have any option but to come onto the pit lane. Now, it's certainly earlier than they would want to, but this is the way the race is playing out. I don't think you can really afford to stay out there.
It's such a long lap here that actually pitting now, you're not going to have a disadvantage other than potentially if one of the prototypes stay out, it means that you could be having to fight your way through a little bit of traffic. And one of the prototypes that does stay out is the 85 car. Stephen Simpson has not pitted. Simpson has not pitted. In has come the first and second. In fact, everybody down to Ollie Pla, Renke van der Zander's come in. Has Joao Barbosa come in? I don't think Barbosa's come in either. So
I don't think he's caught up yet.
Ah, good point. No, he hasn't. He stayed out. Barbosa has stayed out, and Simpson have stayed out and eschewed the opportunity for pit stops. Shea Adam has this Continental Time pit lane report as the leaders are on the lane.
Very odd that the 85 did not come in because they had the pit board down and the entire crew up on the wall for that car. The 10 hits its marks, fuel and tires for Jordan Taylor. Stickers going on. Stickers going on for the 31 as well. Dane Cameron staying behind the wheel. No driver change there. For the number 2, Ryan Dial getting scuffed tires, going back out. The number 22, same story. 22 beats the 2 back out of the pit box, at least initially. It's side by side as they leave their pit boxes. They are identical. I don't know who's going to make that back out. The 22 actually spit off a little bit of bodywork as it was leaving the pit lane. 10 was the first one back out. Then were the 2 and the 22. I don't know which one was first. Then the 31, 90, and finally the 52. As we have a BMW being pushed out from behind a split in the wall. That is the 24. That is John Edwards.
Well, there was a moment there where one of the Nismos went ahead of the 10. They've obviously been told to go back, and they've lined up 10, 2 and 22. It was 22, 10 and 2 as they went round the first corner. So that is very interesting indeed. I presume that has come from their team and race control. GT Daytona, by the way, it's still Aschenbach leading, but Alessandro Balzan now in second place. So did the Lexus make a stop? Yes, it did. Just before the yellow flag, Jack Hawksworth must have made a stop.
He did, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. BMW.
Both the Lexuses actually came in.
Correct.
And I was talking to Paul Genlos a little while ago. They were struggling for fuel consumption in this race.
BMW back out, but very slow, and that is the 25 of Bill Oldham, which has 24 of John Edwards is still showing a stop on the track, but and it hasn't shown us coming out of the pit lane, oddly. So don't know what's happening with our timing there. I know it takes a wee while to catch up, but that's still showing us stopped, and that car's definitely come out of the pit lane. Confused myself there as I looked it up again, so apologies for that. I'll get another visual on it when it comes around next time. Shea, that was the 24 car that went out the pit lane. Well, that was 25, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was the 24 with John Edwards and a large number 8 on the side of the car as well.
That would be correct because it's in 8th position in GTLM. Thank you. Right, timing still has that car as stopped. So, Stephen Simpson, with 47 minutes to go, leads the motor race. When did he last stop, I hear you ask, dear listener? Answer, lap 39. We are now on lap 52.
Curious.
Yeah. So that is very interesting. He stopped on lap 39. Now, where is he pitted? He's pitted beyond the pit lane, beyond the start-finish line. So that was the start of lap 39 that he pitted. And we are now on lap 53. So
yeah, and
that's an interesting time. João Barbosa the same.
Had he been?
I think he might have just dropped off the lead lap there.
Oh, maybe he had. I don't know how he'd done that. I guess he must have done, because otherwise the safety car picked him up as a race leader.
Shea Adam shed some light on this for us for the 5 team.
Well, remember, the 5 team came in to do their pit stop when everybody else came in, but then they had to come in a lap later to repair the damage to the left rear portion of that car. They did top it off with fuel when they made that stop, so he has one more lap worth of fuel.
Yeah, good point. So he had fallen well back. I think he's back on the lead lap now.
Yeah, but he's at the tail end. Well, he's at the tail end of it, so he'll get the pass around once the
once we go.
Completed.
Exactly. Take a deep breath, Shea Adam, because here comes the GT field headed by Joey Hunt.
Okay, let's do this. Joey Hand comes into his pit lane. He has nobody ahead of him. He's got that nice clear windshield. Will it still be that way when he goes to leave, though? They have new Michelin tires on the wall for Joey Hand, and it will be a little bit crowded because the 67 came in immediately behind. Gosh, they were so close together. I couldn't even see Richard Westbrook's car because it looked like one giant Ford. We also have both Corvettes, so the 3 strategy of going off a little bit will have to pay out here if they can put just that little bit less fuel into the car. The 63 hits its marks. There are no driver changes going on for any of the cars that I've mentioned so far, except the 93 is in. That is Andy Lally getting put behind the wheel of that car. The 48, the Lamborghini, is also in. The number 912 makes a quick visit down the pit lane. They pitted very recently. Remember, that was just a splash of fuel. Joey Hand goes back out. Richard Westbrook goes back out. 1 and 2 on the side of their cars, respectively. They will beat everybody else back out, except for that number 912. So Jimmy Bruni is now ahead of everybody else, or Lawrence Vantore, sorry, as the 2 Fords go out, then a Corvette, then the other Porsche. And in terms of our battle leaving the pit lane for GTD, it was Park Place who got ahead of Stevenson Motorsports. So that will be a change up in the order there. The 50 is still on pit lane, getting a lot of fuel for the WeatherTech car, but that's it. Everybody else is gone.
So that will shake things up just a little bit. João Barbosa had been lapped, I think, by the leader, or was about to be lapped by the leader, because he's the first car now in the line.
Yeah.
And that means that Steven Simpson is now the leader, which means João Barbosa should get a wave by.
Correct.
And he will tear round, fill the car with petrol, and try and get back out again before we go green at the end of this stop.
I'm trying to figure out what happened to Jack Hawksworth, because we saw the Lexus on pit lane right before the yellow came out shaded. I don't know, he's probably at the far end of the pit lane from where you are, but did he somehow go like that? Did he have a long stop, or?
It looked like a bit of a long stop, Jeremy, and he was in pit lane when the caution came out too. Had entered the pit lane and then the caution came out, so that should have helped, but maybe it didn't.
Yeah, he may cycle round. Let's wait till they come round and find out where he is in the queue, because all of the cars except Jens Klingman have been in. Oh, maybe Jens was in as well.
Yeah, he'd been in before.
Oh, he'd been in before. Of course, he stopped early. So yeah, so Jens is going to cycle back to the lead. It looks like Jörg Bergmeister is the first of the cars who stopped that time out of the pit lane. That's a 73 Park Place Porsche. Then Aschenbach, then Blake Mullen in the AMG, then Balzan, who had been as high as second. Alessandro Balzan in the 63. Sorry, I'm getting in the habit of just calling him by his surname because that's what everybody in the team does. Sorry, Alessandro. What are the 85 team going to do with Steven Simpson? 42 minutes to go. So now we're getting to the point where you can go to the end. In comes João Barbosa, having been released. See, I think this works really well for the 5 car. They're back on the lead lap. If they can get that car turned round, a new set, here's the wave by starting, and there is the 15 car going through, Jeremy. So that is going to get a wave by. So that will cycle back around. So that's what happened. It got caught between its leader and the race leader.
Yeah, fine.
Class leader. Just finish my thought on the 5 Cadillac, Jeremy. Back on the lead lap, new set of Contis. They need to turn that car round. Right now, oh, it's going to be tight to get him out. They're scuffed Contis that are going on. He got the wave by, and he's not going to get out. He's not going to get out. Shazy being held. What colour's the light at the end of the lane?
Green, 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 green. Yep, he made it out.
Keep telling me.
No, he's gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he made it out. The light is still green, as a matter of fact, as the safety car comes by now, and it goes back to red.
Okay. So he will be on the back of the queue, but fueled with 41 minutes to go. And he gets a chance to go around at a slightly higher speed and get some heat into his Contis, scuffed, to go to the end. I reckon that car's good to the end. I'm really not sure about the cars that stopped, what, 6 or 7 minutes ago. I know they've had full course yellow. Car going behind the wall there, Shea was. Okay, we'll try and get that. We'll give it a go. Acura, I'm hearing. Thank you, Shea. I think that puts Joao Barbosa in a decent position to pick off anybody who's got a fuel, Dave.
I'm trying to figure out what happened to the Lexus, though, because they were running second and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th before the pit stops. They both pitted right before, shortly before the caution came out.
Lap 48, they're both pitted on 48. Sage Carab,
which is 1 lap after number 96 car. Number 96 car is leading, but I guess somehow both Lexus must have got caught behind the safety car, and I'm not quite sure how or why. I guess because, yeah, that was really unfortunate then for that team. I guess they must have come out just behind the overall race leader, so they were trapped there. That was really unfortunate.
15 minutes of racing has been lost to retrieve a stalled car at the entrance to pit lane, but there's really nothing else you can do if you want to try and mitigate the effect of a safety car in multi-class racing. You don't do that, then people drop a lap back on their lap leader, on their class leader, and that's why it's a complicated thing to do. That's why it takes the time. That's why, for my money, code 60 works better, but you get back to racing quicker. And particularly with a car in the pit lane, it's not as if anybody had to go into a live track, but it just doesn't seem to have taken off over here. That's no criticism of anybody. I am just putting a point out there, by the way, of the different ways that things happen, so that we don't lose as much race time. Shea Adam with the 25 car.
And the 24, which is still stationary on the pit lane, lost a drive at the bottom of the hill. Might have been a fuel issue. The 25 just did a driver change, so Alexander Sims gets to finish out the race. They gave him a little bit more fuel, and they changed the tires. So the 25 is definitely good to the end. Definitely our GTLM contenders. Can't say that for everybody else.
Indeed, and well, I think they'll be fine to get to the end, but number 25 car just got back on the lead lap as a result of this caution period, so they come in there, get Alexander Simpson, as you would say, John, slap him with some fresh meat. And again, he's going to be at the back of the pack, of course, so he's got a lot of ground to make up, but at least he is back on the lead lap, because having looked pretty strong at the beginning of the weekend, all of a sudden it seemed to turn sour for BMW, so now at least one of them is in contention, and the Turner Motorsport BMW is looking really good in GT Daytona.
Yeah, a bit of fun and games going on in the GT Daytona, in the GTLM pack. The 912, Lawrence Vantour leads. We've got a green flag at the front of the field, and now he closes up to the back of the prototype field. It's a single file start, and the first leader is the 85 car. There he goes. He's got cars between him and the rest of the prototype field, and there's GT Daytona cars in there, including the leader of Jens Klingman, who's got to keep his nose clean here down the outside. Oh, fantastic move from Pimo Durrani. He's gone past Jordan Taylor and up into second. The Nismo powered car beats the 6.2 car. Look, and off goes the 912. That's Lawrence. No, it's not. It's Dirk Ferner. It must be the 911, isn't it? It is the 911. Werner is off in the gravel. He's not coming out of the turn one gravel. That's going to be another full course yellow, and everybody's fuel problems have just gone away. And that is awful news for Stephen Simpson and the 85 Orica car. But this could be great news for Pipo Derani and the rest of the guys who've just stopped, because they will now be able to get to the end without having to worry about fuel saving. It's also bad news for Joao Barbosa, who was hoping, oh, he could tap there.
Well, he was on the outside, certainly, of the Corvette going into the corner. That would have been the number 3 car, I think.
Yeah, Tom Milner was still green at the moment.
Oh, yes, he did get a touch.
Tom should hip checked him there going in.
Mind you, he's in a dodgy situation there at the best of times.
Put yourself on the outside of a fast corner is always, always, always dangerous.
Have we gone yellow?
Not yet. Can't imagine they're going to leave that car there, but I may be wrong. 36 minutes to go. And full course yellow. Yellows are out on the... Oh, it's come up on the screen now as well. I was going to say Tanny's got them in her hand, so I can see them at the start-finish line. Safety car board is out as well. I just want to go back to the safety car issue. I am not at all questioning why a safety car is needed to get people help on the track. I understand putting marshals on the track is a very dangerous thing to do, and that's the way it happens here. 15 minutes of lost race time, unfortunate, but that is the price you pay for safety of people working to get those cars cleared, or that car cleared as it was. So I'm afraid you can't have it both ways, and the safety has to weigh out. There are other ways of doing it, just doesn't happen here in the US. 911 car has got the signatures of the Porsche team for Jens Walter, the man for whom this is his last race as boss of Porsche North America.
What 67 car got past the 66 too. Change of place then for those 2 Fords at that restart. Richard Westbrook ahead of Joey Hand. I mean, that number 66 car has been in control pretty much all weekend. Let's see what happened here.
Down to turn 5 on the restart. The wing mirror on the 912 already at a jaunty angle. That was the Lawrence Vantu car that was leading. Goes up the hill towards turn number 7. He's driving right up the middle of the road with a Ford either side. That's fine. He picked his line and stuck to it.
So that's, I mean, the number 912 car got into the lead because it didn't need to stop. It had already stopped before that full course caution. That car was leading, and then Joey Hand tried to go around the outside of him, and Richard Westbrook said, that's fine, I'm going to go inside of you, going up the hill into turn 6. So it's exactly
the Porsche swap position, but the Ford swap position.
Correct.
Porsche stayed in the lead.
Just.
Yeah, you see, there wasn't enough room on the track for a Ford either side of the Porsche. Pick one way, guys. They were their own worst enemies there, the 2 Ford twins. 911 is being pulled out at a fantastically efficient pace. Porsche Cayenne GTS intervention vehicle is there providing cover should it be needed, and I presume the 911 of Dirk Werner will fire up and continue. Yes, the bad news for him is he's dropped off the lead lap in class. Slightest of touches. He pulled. Oh, that's so. We've seen a lot of gentlemanly driving here today. He's pulled off to the side of turn 1, braked hard, and then accelerated hard, but done it off the racing surface, Jeremy. He pulled off the track to do that, and now he's off the racing line. He's doing exactly the same, braking hard to try and get the gravel out of the system so that it doesn't go onto the racing line. Before we go grade again, which we will do shortly, we've got 33.5 minutes to go. Our championship leader in GTD is Alessandro Balzan in the car in 5th position. Christina Nielsen is out of the car, and with Shea with his Continental Tyre Pitting update.
Christina Nielsen, you drove so well out there today. You've stood on the 2nd and the 3rd steps of the podium. Today it's time for the 1st, but you were saying that the time lost was not on track. It was in the pit stops.
Yeah, we definitely lost some time doing fuel. I mean, Scuderia, of course, nails it every time with the pit stops. They're so on point. They take care of every detail, and Alessandro has done a great job on track, but we can't have an influence on how fast the fuel goes into the car, and unfortunately that cost us a position in the last pit stop.
No more fuel stops though, so what can Balzan do with the Ferrari?
He's ready to push. You got fresh tires, you got a full tank, and he's ready to go.
Yeah, no lasagna yet. That comes after the race to celebrate, right?
Yeah, that's the Italian superstitions. We don't have lasagna the night before. I'd experience this.
Well, good luck the rest of the race.
Thank you.
I used to be superstitious before I raced as well, but touch wood, I've got rid of that now. The guys are coming back to the green flag this time around. It's a quickie caution, so we won't open the pit lane. The Corvette safety car lights are out, and Stephen Simpson gets to do it again. This time he has nothing between him and second place, but second place now is Pipo Derani with Jordan Taylor in third. So 85 Oreca, 22 Nissan, 10 Dallara, 2 Ligier Nissan, then second to the Dallara Cadillacs, the 31 car. Now, I think Ryan DL might have a good Jordan Taylor on the restart. We saw that Nissan was very, very quick off the line once it got the turbos spooled up. Stephen Simpson controls the pace into the final corner, 31.5 minutes to go. Live from trackside at Road America, IMSA Radio and TV together at the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase. We are green flag and racing. And DL wasn't quite close enough to the back of the third place car, but Derani was close enough to Simpson. And these two young drivers are side by side. Derani's going to try and go the long way around into the right-hander at turn 1. That's a tough thing to do. He's got a heavier car, remember, but newer Continental tyres. Now goes the driver's right, down the hill, great position, but Stephen Simpson is the last of the late breakers and somehow manages to hold on. He must be getting low on fuel now. Still in third position, the number 10 Cadillac, then it's the Nismo-powered Ligier, then the 31 of Dane Cameron, and again these cars are side by side for the lead. And again, Stephen Simpson decides to go to the inside early on in the piece, while it's behind. There's a challenge for third place, but Ryan DL could not get past. And again, this time to the inside, using the power. They have to go around and give each other space, and they do. That's great driving driving by both. Pipo Derani had the position there, and I would have thought 9 times out of 10 anywhere in the world there would have been contact there, and both of those cars went off. But Stephen Simpson and Pipo Derani, sensible stuff. That's great racing.
And for Derani, he knows that Stephen Simpson's got to stop again, so yeah, there's no point really in pushing the issue. It's certainly not risking any contact between the two, because Derani is in the driver's seat here. He's going to take over the lead as soon as Stephen Simpson pits.
And this from Tequila Patron ESM to at Pipo Derani. The 85 is not your target. He needs to pit, so let's go, mate. So basically saying don't race him if you don't have to. In GTLM, the 66 Ford has got by the 912. Joey Hand is ahead of Lawrence Van Tour, and Richard Westbrook's back down to third there. So the Fords have swapped positions, but Joey's got ahead again. Antonio Garcia and Tom Milner now for Corvette are right in the mix towards the end of the race. Didn't we say that at the beginning of the race as well? Didn't we say that right at the beginning of the race? Don't count out the... and one of the Corvettes coming in, it's the 3. That's Antonio Garcia. Drive-through for... that's a drive-through for the contact at turn 1. That's worked very quickly. Well done to race control for assessing that one. They've been massively quick with their decision-making today, and that's exactly as the drivers wanted. That gives the 3 car 28.5 minutes to try and fight back. So that was the touch on the 911 of Dirk Werner going into turn 1.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because
hang on, it might have been something else here. No, that's a different replay that we're about to see. The 3 car and the 911 got together in the first corner on the replay. 3 wide going down the run to turn number 5. And again, same part of the circuit with GTLM, GT Daytona and Prototype Challenge. 3 of the 4 classes on the same part of the circuit at the same time and spread out using every inch of the width of the Road America circuit. Just under 30 minutes to go, Jeremy. And Pipo Derani has got by Stephen Simpson and is making his bid for freedom. Jordan Taylor 1.3 seconds behind. He's fighting at the moment because Ryan DL is putting pressure on him and Dane Cameron is putting pressure on him. Remember, the Cadillac, the number 10 car, takes a bit of time to get up to speed after the pit stops. They are running slightly different pressures on their tyres, and it just takes them a while to get up to operating temp and pressure. That's my guess. I don't know that for sure.
Certainly didn't at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, he was fine at the beginning of the race, but on all of the restarts, And after the pit stops, he's had a little bit of problem with pace. 9:11.
New leader.
Yeah, Pipo Derani in the lead, as we said. Got past Stephen Simpson, and now he's making his bid for freedom. So Jordan Taylor, I was going to say Jordan Taylor will have to try and get past Stephen Simpson. He's not anywhere near him at the moment. 1 3/4 seconds back. But don't forget that 85 car owes us a pit stop. And the clip from the Corvette on the 911 was very, very light, but again, just enough to unsettle it. The 911 Porsche will be a stop in 60 seconds for working in a closed pit. That was when they came back around. And Stephen Simpson's back ahead of Pipo Derani. Now that definitely changed.
Yep.
A change because I saw it when they went past. I'd seen it earlier on in the lap on the timing screen. So was that restitution, or did people make a mistake? Stephen Simpson 58.1 last time around, 56.7 for Pipo. But it was a slow early sector for Pipo. So what has happened there? Unseen by us, I'm afraid. Oh! And the Jack Hawksworth's day has just gone downhill fast. Excuse me, Andy Lally, I'm looking at the 15 on the side of a blue car. Andy Lally's day has gone from bad to worse. It has been an awful weekend for the new colours, and Andy in the wall. He's moving in the car, talking to the team on the radio. Just wipes his brow as he has hit the wall hard with 25 minutes to go to full course caution again. And he's coming through turn. He's just coming out of turn 1 and lost it on the exit of turn 1 under the Briggs and Stratton sign. Not sure if he was helped into that or whether that was just the rear end spinning up. Porsche 911 is retiring, or at least it's going back into the paddock. So the stop and 60-second hold is largely academic now for that car. Just means they can take the bonnet off and give it to Jens a bit earlier. Jens Walter. Ooh, reprieve for Stephen Simpson. How much yellow flag are we going to get here? Can he make it to the end? Shea Adam, how much yellow flag do they need on the 85 car to get to the end without a stop?
Well, they would need the race to end in about 7 minutes before they can...
Okay.
Yeah, he's well short. They're up on the wall. They've got scuffed Continentals ready to go. And they won't need to do a full fuel load, but they definitely need some liquid in that car.
Yeah, and of course they're going to be at the back of the pack. They're going to have to come. Stephen's going to have to come past everybody before.
That cleanup's not going to take 2 minutes, though, is it? It's not going to take. Probably not going to take 20 minutes either. The 911, by the way, thanks to the Porsche team. They have told us that was a gearbox issue for 911 after that contact with the 3 Corvette. Came in, worked on it, couldn't fix it, had gone back. There will be no fairy tale ending for that.
Still wondering why the number 85 car didn't come in with everybody else.
Well, they were expecting him, Jeremy. They had the pit board out.
Yeah.
I didn't imagine that. They had the pit board out for the 85.
Pit board out, and all the crew guys up on the wall too. They were shocked when they didn't see their yellow car coming down the pit lane.
Communication problem or something like that, Che?
That's the only thing I can think of, Jeremy, yeah.
Not entirely sure what it is, but they don't seem to be having an issue talking to Stephen now. Maybe somebody told him the cricket score.
In PC, good one. In PC, by the way, Gustavo Jackerman in the bar 1 car number 26. He's got himself back on the lead lap as a result of that most recent caution period. So, and he's not that far behind number 38.
Jeremy, look on the wall there around Andy Lally's car. He's moved the concrete blocks there, and that is going to require some remedial work. So we might be under yellow flag for a little while, and they're looking further back up the track as well, grabbing pieces of car to clean that up. A sorry end for the 93 car. Yeah, I saw the 15 on the side of the car, which was in car's position, of course, and I
did exactly
straight away thought, a Hawks within the 15, but of course it's not. It was 15th position. This is the new Nouvelle Blue colour for this weekend for the 93, which has now had 2 big accidents. Matches the wrecker truck, though, which is nice. I'm trying to get some positives out of that.
Yeah, well, because it's been a fabulous run for that number 93 team. They've won a couple of races recently. They've had a podium finish. They got themselves up to the 3rd position in the points, and not that far out. And for Acura, they were up to just 6 points off the lead in the Manufacturers' Championship. And with the 86 car also having difficulties today, they're going to lose a lot of ground in the manufacturers' standings.
Tell you what, this is great news for the 73 Porsche. Remember, they had an issue and dropped way down, having been up in the top 5. And Jörg Bergmeister now is in the queue behind Jens Klingmann with a shot at a victory here. Still there, and have been there all day, Stevenson. Mike Johnson's 300th race on the pit wall. Here, is this going to be a fairy tale story for there? What about Jerome Blakemore in the 33 Mercedes-Benz, 4th position in GT Daytona, and Alessandro Balzan, new set of Contis and a full tank of fuel for the 63 championship-leading Ferrari. But how about this for the hard charger story of the day? Disqualified from the qualifying session, Paul Miller Racing started at the back of the field. They've bounced around in the midfield of GTD, now in 6th position with Brian Sellers, who is a hard-charging driver, and he is still in with a chance there on the restart. We know that restarts here can cause all kinds of fun and games. I think back, 12 months to where we had a couple in the dying moments, and there was a big shuffle round of positions. Now, at the front of the field,
leader in the pits.
85's come in for emergency service here. The pits are still closed, aren't they?
The pit lights are still flashing to signify that the pit lane is closed. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on how long they fuel it for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now he's going a little bit long. You're supposed to only do 5 seconds worth of fuel. He did about 9 seconds worth of fuel, but yeah, pits are definitely still closed, and the red light is on at the pit lane exit.
So he will have to stop, and I'm sure that Stephen has seen that. Yes, he has. He comes to a halt. He'll have to go right to the end of the line. The pits will not open this time around, so there won't be a chance for anybody to pit, and that means there won't be a chance for Stephen to cycle through any of those other cars. Let's, before we go green, have a word with Johannes van Overbeek. Pete Durrani leading the race for the 22 Nismo powered Ligier.
Well, Johannes, we've got about 20 minutes left in this race. It's the 2 and the 22 are right up there in the front, and your car just happens to be leading. Think that you guys can pull this off?
Fingers are crossed. I got one of the best closers in the business behind the wheel, and Pipo. Car's been great. We're good on fuel, so I think we're in good shape.
What's it going to take to hold off that 10 Cadillac?
Well, they're certainly the class of the field, so it's going to take a lot of aggression and some risk by Pipo, and hopefully he can pull it off.
And best finish here is 3rd in IMSA competition 3 times. Hopefully Johannes can beat that today.
I would think one of the things that will help them is if Ryan DL can get the jump on Taylor at the start, as Pete Durrani did on the last restart. Or was it this restart before last? 3 yellows breed yellows, don't they?
Yeah. And by the way, you're just talking about GT Daytona contenders. Don't count out Jerome Blakemole here in that number 33
no.
Mercedes, because he's been absolutely flying. In fact, I believe he set the fastest lap of the class as well. And we saw that Ben Keating did a fabulous first stint in that number 33 car. And Blakemole, talk about great finishers. He's certainly a great finisher, and he's in 4th position.
Lights are out on the safety car, I think, as they go through the carousel. Let's just wait to get another look at it. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we were going green this time around. In
that case, I mean, the last yellow was a quickie, in which case the pits aren't opened. Yeah. This therefore would not be a quickie, so the pits would have been. I think perhaps, but maybe the pits weren't closed when number 85 car came. I don't think that's going to be an issue.
The lights were still on, definitely.
Where?
On the pit lane.
At the end of the pit lane?
Yeah.
Sure,
no,
cars
the flashy lights that tell the teams that the pits are closed.
Oh, were they? Right, okay. Oh, I was curious.
93 car being cleared off through one of the breaks in the concrete wall to that flatbed, has used that, and that will come back on the infield. And indeed, the safety car lights were out. My eyes weren't deceiving me.
We are within the final 30 minutes of the race, though, aren't we? So
last 30 minutes of the race, Jeremy, so yeah. So it's now go fast or go home. And Pipo Derani will be desperate for his teammates to get by that number 10 Cadillac. We've seen just that opening 2 or 3 laps for the Cadillac, difficult for them to get up to full speed. For the 10 car, that is, for the 10 car. They do seem to have been just a little bit off the pace.
I think it's just a grunt of the Nissan, to be honest. It's got plenty of horsepower, and I think
he came out of the pits, Jeremy, on the grid flag pit stop. He was down 1 3/4 seconds a lap before he got it. Was only the first 2 laps, exactly as they did in qualifying as well. And pits were definitely closed when the 85 came in, so that was emergency service.
Okay.
Right, we're going back to green flag. We're on green flag now. The power has been applied by everyone at the front of the field. And here comes Ryan DL. He's got a decent run. Is he close enough? He might be. He goes to the right-hand side. Looks once, looks twice, but no. He can't get along the inside. First 3 are broken away from Dan Cameron, who's in 3rd, 4th position in that Whelen Engineering car. And Renger van der Zande has got company behind him. That's Ollie Pla. Oh my goodness, what a cast for the run to the flag here. Derani, Taylor, DL, Cameron, van der Zande, Pla and Barbosa. What a 7-driver train that is. And they have broken away from the GT field that is headed by Hand, Vanto, Westbrook, Milner, Sims, Garcia, the top 6 pretty much together there. Ford, Porsche, Ford, Chevy, BMW and Chevy, or Corvette, BMW and Corvette should I say. And once again, Pipo Derani, king of the cool tyre restarts, has cleared out, and Jordan Taylor again has dropped a 2.5 before we've done a full lap of racing here. That's exactly what's happened the last couple of times. Has to bring those tyres up to temp a little bit more in a more circumspect manner.
And let's not forget, there's only a couple of races left in the championship after this weekend. So for the Taylor brothers, bringing it home in 2nd place, but just do just fine. Thank you very much indeed. Their sights are on the end goal. That is the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship.
Last 15 minutes of the race. Don't forget Michelin post-race tech coming after the checkered flag for our IMSA Radio listeners. Use the hashtag MichelinPRT to @IMSA Radio for your questions, points arising, or just general observations. And our Spirit of the Race Awards. Your nominations, please, to @IMSA Radio using the hashtag RA for Road America, RASOTR. RASOTR for Spirit of the Race. There's some comeback stories here, aren't there? What about the brand new Ligier for Visit Florida Racing, currently in 5th with Van der Zande pushing. Return to form for the Nissans as well here. Stephen Simpson, by the way, is coming to the pits as he has to do for full service. Wouldn't have been able to go to the end even with that 5 seconds of fuel. He won't need a full tank, but he's still going to lose time.
So is number 15 car of Jack Hawksworth.
Right. Well,
he was at the back of the line.
He last stopped at lap 48, so he was one of the first stoppers before that yellow flag.
I think it's a penalty.
Right.
Because he didn't stop in his pit, I don't think.
Okie dokie. And yet so far the 85 car have taken them out of the fight here, and there's a certain sense of resignation as Stephen Simpson is getting the fuel that will take him the last 13.5 minutes. Didn't even bother firing a new set of tyres onto that car there as it goes out.
No, there's not much point. I mean, even if there's another yellow now, it's going to leave no time at all for him to work his way through all the GT traffic, but still made a point again, has Stephen Simpson, JDC Miller Motorsports. The car is super fast, and they might not be able to continue their podium streak today, but it's still been a really strong run for them. And let's not forget, of course, going to be running a 2nd car next season. Announced that a week or so ago. That's tremendous news for this championship.
In the GT Daytona field, Jens Klingman has pulled out 2.6 seconds from Jörg Bergmeister, but then the Audi of Aschenbach, the AMG of Bleekemolen, the Ferrari of Balzan, Brian Sellers in the Lamborghini, all of those cars in very, very close company. So 2nd down to 6th position in GT Daytona, absolutely nothing between them. as Durrani now has pulled out 3.2 seconds of the lead.
And he's just set his best lap of the race as well.
But Jordan Taylor's just set that car's best lap of the race, Jeremy, a 55.2. So now, after those first couple of laps, now the Continental tyres are coming in. For some reason, the Konica Minolta team do seem to like to just under pressure their tyres a tiny bit when they come back out of the pit stops. Ryan DL has not been able to make the move early on, and I now think he'll struggle. He's fighting off Dane Cameron. So Nismo Ligier, Delara Cadillac, Nismo Ligier, Delara Cadillac, then the two global Ligiers with the Gibson motors in, Van der Zande and Ollie Pla. As who was that coming into
Number
the pit
16
lane?
car. They've had difficulties in the second half of the race. Real shame for that Change Racing team. I haven't qualified that car on the pole, Joan Mull, and since then it's all gone downhill a bit. But again, they've shown the pace in that car in qualifying. Be good fodder for them moving forward.
Just after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, threatening clouds on their way in. 11.5 minutes to go. Let's hope that they don't bring a premature end to this event, the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase here at Road America, live trackside with IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Durrani is really getting his head down and making that Nismo powered Tequila Patron Ligier fly at the moment.
There's a lot of blue on the scoring screen. That means fastest sector time, so a whole bunch of different cars.
Yeah. Alexander Sims has just put the best in class for GT LM in the 25 BMW at 2:02.7. That's hauling in race trim as well. There's a point for fastest lap. Let's not forget, and with how tight some of these championships are, that might be important by the time we get the Petit Mon toward the last waning moments of the season. At the moment, Stephen Simpson has that point overall with a 54.0, but Pipo Durrani's knocking on the door of that. Ollie Pla's not been as quick as I expected him today, if I'm honest. Expected him, he was my pick for fastest lap on the podiumpredictor.com, powered by IHG Rewards Club, and we'll be opening the Podium Predictor competition for VIR in the next few days. www.podiumpredictor.com. All the details there. If you've been playing this week, you were playing against AJ Allmendinger as our guest expert. Go to www.podiumpredictor.com, powered by IHG Rewards Club, to see how you do at the end of the weekend. Shea, I seem to remember, tipped the 10 from the 2 and the 22. So you haven't got them on the right order, Shea, but you've got all the 3 prototypes at the moment.
Dang it. I wish I got credit for just getting him on the podium, but yeah, it's going to be one heck of a finish. It's not over yet. And looking at the radar screens, there's like a pimple of rain that has just popped up. It's within 2 miles of the circuit, and it's getting pretty dark.
Oh dear. The R word was used there by Shea. She may be drummed out of Road America. No splash at the moment. Joey Hand as Lawrence Vantour tenaciously holding on there, 0.8 of a second. Should be no problems for fuel for these two. They can go full rich to the end, turn everything up to 11. Turbocharged EcoBoost engine for the Ford Flat 6, normally aspirated 4 litre for the Porsche, of course. Meanwhile, further down the field, Tommy Milner has got Alexander Sims right behind him as they battle for the first position off the podium, 4th. And it is the 4 Corvette in there at the moment. Jörg Bergmeister is not able to close the gap to Jens Klingmann in GT Daytona, the BMW number 96 of Turner Motorsport. Well, that car has looked good all day and is looking good now when it really counts.
Yeah, very true. The lead, by the way, in GTLM, number 66 car isn't pulling away from
not at all.
Lawrence Vantour, is he?
Vantour is doing it. In fact, he's just done his fastest lap of the race at a 2:03.189 against Joey Hand, who's just done his fastest lap of the race at a 2:03.194. So that tells you how closely matched those two cars are. See, when people have to push and you see how far fast the car can really go, that's when you realise how well Simon and Scott and the rest of the guys who do the technicals and the BOP, that's when you realise how well they have worked. Because when everybody is on full rich and it's all turned up to 11 and everybody's hot, sweaty and adrenaline fueled, then nobody's leaving anything on the table. And that's when we see that the two different cars at the front of the field, the Ford and the Porsche, are within fractions of a second of each other on the same circuit in the same conditions at the same time. Bravo and a chapeau to the IMSA technical team. Durrani is impressing me. I've had high regard for people for a while, but he is now still 4 seconds ahead of Jordan Taylor. He's just pushed his fastest lap in as well. Taylor a 54.5, and that's the first time since the restart that Jordan Taylor's taken time out of the leader. And Durrani will start hitting traffic shortly around this 4.048 mile circuit. 6.5 minutes to go. Jeremy Shaw and John Hindhoff in the IMSA Broadcast Centre. Shea Adam, our Continental Tire pit lane reporter. Her next job should be interviewing the winning team. Should be. Is there more pit lane drama to come? Let's hope not.
Should be 4 more laps, I reckon, or 3 after this anyhow.
Oh, it is getting dark. It is getting dark. Peter Durrani, another good first sector. Just to note that Jack Hawksworth's just put the Lexus RCF GTS to that position of having the point for fastest lap in GT Daytona at 2:07.399, and he is in 10th position. Not going to catch anybody there. Gunnar Jeanette well ahead of him, 25 seconds ahead of him, but proof if proof were needed how quick that Lexus can be.
Yeah, very true. The battle for second place, by the way, actually getting a little bit closer on that lap to Jens Klingman, but I think he's got everything under control.
Yeah, I agree.
But the rest of them are closing up.
Never knows when to give up.
No, the rest of that group are all closing up. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Yes, but from second down to, which is Bergmeister, down to in the Porsche, down to Sellers in the Lamborghini in sixth is a couple of seconds, really, isn't it? 2.5 seconds. So you're right, Jeremy. That is closing.
Hello.
A little mistake
Number
from
10.
Dane Cameron last time at turn 5 means he's dropped away from Ryan DL. 4.8 seconds as a slightly slower lap from Jordan Taylor last time has allowed Ryan DL to close to 1.3 seconds. Now this could get interesting, and that mistake from Dane Cameron has allowed Renger van der Zande and Ollie Plaat to close up on him. So the leading trio, well, Durrani's away a little bit. The battles for second and third, and then fourth, fifth and sixth pretty close as well in terms of the prototypes. 4.5 minutes to go. Why is it we always get a grandstand finish here at Road America so many times that I've pretty much lost my voice in the last 5 minutes, and it's happening again here. Durrani must keep his nerve and his cool and his professional. Our keys to the race at the Michelin Countdown to Green, remember earlier on, manage the traffic, and Durrani will have to manage that traffic before the end of the race. And that 5 seconds that he got now could disappear in the blink of an eye if he gets the wrong side of a car he's trying to put a lap on, or worse. If you're too conservative, that can cost you time as well. It's getting that balance right between aggression and conservatism. Be decisive, make sure the car has every chance to see you, that you're going by. Joao Barbosa, 1:55.0, that's the number 5. Action Express Cadillac's fastest lap of the race, but he's 2.3 seconds away from Van der Zande now, who's pressuring Dane Cameron for 4th. Cameron 2.6 behind. Ryan DL in second, in third, excuse me, but in the number 2 car. He's only 0.8 away from the Cadillac. And, oh, that's where last time around the 52 of Ollie Plaat lost a bit of time behind Jack Hawksworth going into the carousel, and indeed lost a position as he fell off the circuit. So Plaat now is behind Barbosa. That's where that happened. Jack Hawksworth, an unwitting pick there, just blocked out Ollie Plaat. Of course, he drives for Chip Ganassi in the Ford GT in the WEC. Our leader is in traffic, goes up the inside of Tristan Fortier, going into turn number 6 in the multicoloured Sun Energy AMG GT. Gap now just under 5 seconds again as Jordan Taylor is picking up the pace once more.
Well, he has to, because he's got Randy L on his heels right now.
People very
Probably
careful.
White flag next time around, I think.
At the end of this lap. Yes, I think, yeah, you're right, Jeremy, it will be. So there's half a lap plus 4 miles for Pipo Derani. What a race restart from Derani. Basically won that on the first of the restarts when he drove around the outside of the then leading Cadillac of Jordan Taylor. And he's been able to control it through the subsequent couple of restarts, and now to the end of the race. 1 minute and 46 seconds on the clock. The white flag is in hand. Let's see if it is waved. My goodness, this would be an historic victory in the new prototype formula for 2017. 4.048 miles. There have been nothing but Cadillacs on the top step of the podium thus far. At the moment, the best Cadillac is in second place and is under pressure from Ryan Dial, who's under 3/4 of a second behind Jordan Taylor as they go into the last lap. In GTLM, Joey Hand has the same sort of gap between himself and Lawrence Vantour in the Porsche number 912. Those two are battling right the way through, and they've yet to see the white flag. In GT Daytona, it's 3.2 seconds between Klingman and Bergmeister, BMW and Porsche for the lead, but then per many one for 3 or 4 cars to get on the podium, because there's not a second between any of the next 4 cars. The clouds are gathering. It's looking ominous, but at the moment, with the white flag out, we're going to go the full 2 hours and 40 minutes, and indeed a bit more, because the time has now elapsed. The white flag is out for the GT Le Mans leader. Joey Hand knows that he's only got 1 more lap to hold off Lawrence Vantour, the 911 behind the wall with gearbox problems. Chip Ganassi looking at 2 cars on the podium.
And the BMW absolutely tied together as they head towards turn 1. The Corvette defending that inside.
That's for 4th position.
Yes.
Tommy Milner in the 4th for 25 Sims. The leader in traffic with the 48 Paul Miller Racing Lamborghini ahead of him as he comes round. Oh, they've hit! Turn 3, the Corvette and the BMW tied together, but they have hit. And once again, Tommy Milner is out in the dying stages. He will lose that position at the checkered flag, though. It's history made, the first non-Cadillac victory in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship of 2017. And it's the Nismo-powered Ligier of Extreme Sports have gone through. The Tequila Patron car have won it, and Sims, coming from a long way back, has clipped Tommy Milner and spun him round in turn 3. There's damage to both cars. That will be, I'm sure, reviewed after the fact. 2 Nismo-powered Ligiers from ESM on the podiums. The meat in the sandwich is Jordan Taylor. Patricio O'Ward makes it a continuing season sweep for the 38 Performance Tech Prototype Challenge team, and we'll wait for GTLM and GTD still to come around. Joey Hand with only 0.8 of a second on Vantour, can't afford a slip. Here he comes to the final corner. Vantour's going to take a huge run at the final corner. It's got very cold, there's wind, there's rain in the air, but it hasn't affected the victory of Pipo Derani, and it's not going to rain on Ford's parade either. Through comes Joey Hand to win for the 66 Chip Ganassi team. Vantour second. Richard Westbrook will come through in 3rd. Just waiting for the BMW to come through and confirm their dominance, and it has been a very, very impressive run by Turner Motorsports for the GTD category. He's got 2 seconds on the rest of the field. Let's go to Shea Adam.
Johannes van Overbeek, he celebrated with the whole crew, said to every single crew member, congratulations, you are so happy that it's 1-3 for the team. Both cars on the podium, but a monkey off the back. You guys are the first non-Cadillac to win.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. The ESM Patron guys never give up. We've been working really hard. Crew guys did a great job. Our engineer, Matthew and Kyle, gave us a great setup this weekend. And just wish Ed Brown was here to share it with us.
Well, his name is still on the car, so it's still a moral victory for him. Congratulations and enjoy the celebration.
Thanks, Shay.
25 car has come across the line, Jeremy, missing the left front wheel entirely.
And significantly, even more so than that, number 3 car, Antonio Garcia, the championship leader, let's not forget, in GTLM, therefore made up 2 positions on that lap. So that is great news. That it's what, 3 extra points for that number 3
because
team.
Tommy Milner got back on the track and has overtaken Alexander
Indeed.
Sims.
Yes.
After that coming together. So Tommy Milner not out of the race. He got the car back off the slippery grass at turn 3 and came round. But let's talk about Pipo Derani, the 22 crew, Jeremy. That is history being made. Johannes van Overbeek did his bit. Ed Brown's name's still on the door of that car, as Shea rightly said. The man who's put so much into this team, along with Scott Sharp, ESM Tequila Patron. What a victory, and Pipo Derani really set that in motion at the first of the restarts. Let's go down to GTLM. Joey Hans won that. Dirk Muller in the pit lane with Shea.
Dirk Miller, you started off yesterday with the pole position. You got that last year too, but you didn't get the win last year. You got it today. How does it feel?
Oh, that's a big relief here right there. Big thanks to the whole team. Ford Chip Ganassi Racing really rocks, and they gave us the car really to win this year. Oh, Joey did an awesome job. My nerves are killing me. I'm not good watching, I can tell.
Well, the good news is that you guys move up in the championship even more. The second place car had some troubles on the final lap, so now you're back in the championship hunt too.
Absolutely, that was a big point swing today, and that's what we were talking about all weekend. So we needed that win so bad, and no, I'm really happy here, and Joy did a fantastic job, absolutely fantastic.
Congrats.
Tony DeZino tweeting at IMSA Radio and pointing out that is the 6th GTLM manufacturer winner at Road America in 6 years. Corvette, Porsche, Ferrari, Viper and BMW going before the Chip Ganassi Ford victory there. An extraordinary final lap for the BMW of Alex Sims and Tommy Milner, with Alex Sims coming across the line without a front wheel. The left front wheel completely gone, not without a tyre, without a front wheel. The car running pretty much with the disc on the ground there, and he dropped down to 6th position. Tommy Milner with a damaged number 4 Corvette got pointing in the right direction, but Tonio Garcia and Jan Magnussen's car, and it was Tonio in the car at the end, will come home in 4th position, just off the podium. They'll feel like that was a victory today because they were not in the hunt at any stage, and they've come home with 4th place points. So,
yeah,
Jeremy,
and
points,
extended their lead.
Yeah, actually have extended their lead in the championship, have they? Well, let's go with GTLM first of all then.
Yeah, 239 points, I reckon, now for Magnussen and Garcia, to the 231 of Dirk Muller and Joey Hand, who've moved ahead of Bill Auberlin and Alexander Sims by 1 point. I think Alexander Sims got the fastest lap of the race in the GTLM category. Yes, that's worth an extra point, but they're still 1 point behind, I reckon, Hand and Muller. 4th place will be the Westbrook Briscoe Ford, another 5 points further back. And in the manufacturers, let me figure that out quick. Now, Ford, Porsche.
Ford, Porsche, Ford, Chevrolet.
Yeah, Ford, Porsche, Ford, Chevrolet. So that is going to be, I reckon that's actually going to put Ford in the lead by a point over Chevrolet.
All of these points are provisional, of course, till after post-race tech here, and also the results are made official.
Yeah, 254 to 253, Ford over Chevrolet.
What a great race. Now, what about the prototype category? Jordan Taylor and his brother Ricky came in with 19 points of a lead.
Yeah, it's now 26 points over Barbosa and Fittipaldi. So that's not quite insurmountable, but not far short of it. So a great day for the Taylor brothers. They'll be disappointed not to win the race, of course. That's why they come to the races, is to win. But this is a great points day for them. They score a lot more points than their closest contenders. So I reckon 258 for the Taylors, 232 for Barbosa Fittipaldi.
GT Daytona, what a day for the 96 Turner BMW. Adam has Will Turner, the man with his name above the door.
Well, Will Turner, I don't know how you keep on doing this. You keep creeping up and coming out of nowhere, winning these races. These boys you got here this weekend, though, the JKs, they seem to do the job and do it well.
Yeah, so a little bit surprised to be up here, not because of just what I watched, because these guys were flawless, but coming into the weekend, we didn't know what kind of car we were going to have, and kind of everything worked out our way. And Jesse and Jens, what a great pair, and the pit stops, we nailed it, and it's our day today. Sometimes it's your day, it's our day, and hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Congratulations and good luck at VIR.
Oh, what a race. 2 on the podium for ESM, 2 on the podium for Ford. In GTD, it was BMW, Porsche and Audi. Don't forget, let's have your questions and your nominations for Spirit of the Race, please, to IMSA Radio, hashtag Michelin PRT for post-race tech, hashtag RASOTR for your nominations for Spirit of the Race. We'll be handing the PA over to Tony Laporte in a moment for the formalities. Just see if we can get the PC guys before we go off the air. The Performance Tech winners, Patricio Award, continuing that season sweep so far for the 38 team, and Jeremy has this. In
GTD points, certainly the Christina Nielsen and Alessandro Baldan, they'll lose 2 points of their advantage, but they're 15 points ahead still going to the final 3 races of the season. In manufacturers, however, I think that Mercedes will be now just 1 point behind Ferrari in that GTD Manufacturers Championship. Well, it's time for us to bid you farewell as far as our broadcast here at the circuit is concerned. 3 weeks' time for VIR. It's the GT Showcase. It'll be another cracker. If you can't join us, then make sure you are watching and or listening on IMSA.tv and IMSA Radio. Thank you, Road America, for your hospitality, for your fabulous racetrack, and for the entertainment that we've had throughout the Continental Tire Road Race Showcase. It's been a joy to broadcast it live here on IMSA Radio.